Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the high school football season, the 2025 high school football season, here at the Altoona Mirror on the high school football preview show on YouTube TV. And I guess, Michael, right off the bat, what is this year for you and I? Is this since 2018 or 19?
Yeah, probably 18.
18. So 7 you need to go back on YouTube and look up Mike and I. Mike and I are just like on the side of the table. We hadn't even got enough of the guts and respect to get over to this part of the table. And then we brought you in on Andy.
This is season number 4 for me.
Okay, there you go. But anyways, that's my way of introducing everybody. And once again, Guru Emeritus, Mike Boytim. Isn't that what they do in college if you're really high up and everything?
I like that, yeah.
Guru Emeritus and your Guru wannabe.
Sure.
Guru
Yeah,
wannabe Andy Stine. Mike Boytim. My name is Scott Franco. I'm the host again. Behind the camera, our production guy, does all the cool graphics and stuff, Dan Eisberg. And real quick, I give a shout out to my daughter, Maggie Franco, who didn't like how last year's background was just too messy, she thought, and we just piled stuff on. But I said, hey, we're guys. That's what we do. We don't fold anything and put stuff away.
Yeah.
She paid for that out. She heard what our budget was and said, don't worry, I'll get this one. So, but anyways, yes, we're going to try and do something with that as the season goes on. But I personally, think it's really cool. I like it. And God bless her. Like she had her own pocket. She paid for it. But anyways, before we talk about our games this week, Mike's going to tell us a little bit about the Blitz magazine that's been on your Sheets store shelves since, I guess, Mike, the end of July?
Yeah, the end of July, and it'll be out there for still the next couple weeks. And hey, everybody's still undefeated as you watch this here. So, go out and get it. I mean, it's only $5.95, and it's just it gives the kids a chance to be like they're in Sports Illustrated. I mean, it's pretty cool.
And it's good to go with the one that was in Wednesday's paper, the insert. That has like rosters with, I guess, full rosters. It talks about projected starters. You got schedules. There's a Letterman photo. It's a nice balance. I mean, you go to the game, you carry the Blitz, you take that. You can look up names, numbers. You don't have to buy a program, though. The people at the game probably are mad at me for saying that because that's a fundraiser.
Well, also, if you come to the Altoona Hollidaysburg game this week, I'll be there from 5:30 to 6:30 selling them, and you can get them at a discounted price for $5.
There you go. And Andy, what game do you have?
I am going to BG in Penns Valley.
Oh, you're
going on a road trip. Yeah.
Center Hall? Is that Center Spring Mills?
Spring Mills. Yeah, it's out there.
I'm going to my desk in front of the TV set
Friday on Saturday too.
Tonight or Friday night. Anyways, right off the bat, let's talk about it. Altoona at Hollidaysburg. Lots of new faces, I know, for Hollidaysburg. I got to think lots of new faces for Altoona. What do you expect from this game?
Well, yeah, it'll be Parker White at quarterback, it looks like, for Altoona. And that adds an interesting aspect. I know Coach Delatre was really intrigued by that because Parker White can throw the ball a little bit more, and he is a little bit more of an athlete throwing the ball. Now, obviously, he can run, too, and that's what Altoona's going to do and what they normally do. But that makes you on edge a little bit more, that you might hit him with a few passes here and there. So that might add another thing that Hollidaysburg has to look out for. And then, of course, Hollidaysburg, they should have a versatile guy back there as well. And Cole Delatre, Homer's son, who was a pretty good receiver the last couple of years, but he did some Wildcat quarterbacking in there, and he can throw the ball, but we know he can run the ball. So you got two guys that are great athletes back there at quarterback, and I think this is a pretty even matchup.
And then Hollidaysburg, I'm not sure about Hollidaysburg, has so many new faces and so many names. I mean, did you ever play on a team that had that many people to replace, especially what with it, 14-1 last year?
Yeah, I think Hollidaysburg replaced 22 ladder winners.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if we ever had to replace that many, but that's a lot. And I guess that's part of what makes week 1 so interesting is it's kind of all anticipation right now, what could happen right now.
And speaking of anticipation, this second game, it's the one I'm really curious about because, everybody's talking about Bellwood-Antis and good for them. Nick Leverage, one of the good guys out there, but they're going to Clearfield. And Clearfield is a 3A, 4A school. Yeah. Bellwood's a 2A school. But a lot of people liking Bellwood-Antis here, and at least in the conference division they're in. What are you expecting from this game?
Well, so this is a huge challenge. Clearfield went undefeated last year in the Laurel Highlands, one of 3 teams, but they were the team that got left out in the tiebreaker and didn't get to play in the Laurel Highlands championship game that Cambria beat BG in. Clearfield had Brady Collins last year. So let's get that out of the way. The kid was a great athlete, great track athlete, ran for, I think, over 2,000 yards. So that is a big hole to replace, but they do have a lot of the linemen that blocked for him. They still have Xavier Curry, who's a very athletic quarterback, can move around in the pocket, make things happen. And Nick Loveridge said they'll have to be ready for that. But Bellwood, it's very interesting for them because this is the team that won 8 games last year in the regular. They won 8 games last year and then went on, won a playoff game. And they just lost to Cambria Heights by 1 score. Heights won the district championship, and that was without 2 of their best players, Chase Plummer and Alex McCartney, who got hurt. McCartney missed the whole season, and Plummer only played in 1 game. So they get those 2 guys back, in addition to having all the guys that won 8 games last year.
Now, can you play the David and Goliath thing right off the bat with Bellwood in the first game this season?
I guess you could, yeah. Which one's David, which one's Goliath, though? Because I expect both these guys to have a good season. One of them's going to start out 0-1, and that's unfortunate, but either way, I'm curious about Bellwood, just with the McCarty kid coming back. I'm curious to see what Clearfield does.
Bellwood's a new quarterback. Bellwood's going to have a new...
Yeah, Braden Partner's going to be the new quarterback. He was like a running back a lot of the time last year, also caught some passes, but he's very athletic, but he has not played the quarterback position at the varsity level. So, the one thing about Holden Schreier, who was there before, he didn't make a lot of mistakes his senior year, and that was what really helped Bellwood. So it'll be important for Bellwood to take care of the ball because that was something they did last year.
Yeah. Our third game here, Central at Philipsburg-Osceola. In Central, talk about, if you are a fan of our Blitz and our insert magazine that we do, Central's letterman photos looked like team photos as compared to some others because they always had so many letter winners. This year, that photo is markedly smaller now, and they don't have as many letter winners. So I'm curious to see how Central's going to do with all these. The Muthler kid's still there. So you know that, but
the younger one.
There's still a lot of new faces up there. And then Philipsburg-Osceola is home. What are you expecting from this game?
Well, first of all, so this is just week 1, and I know everyone says don't overreact. You have Pat McAfee's overreactions, right? But this could decide the playoffs, honestly, this game. These 2 teams are going to be in the hunt for 4 playoff spots in 3A. And Philipsburg's a real threat this year to grab one of those spots. And if Central wants to stick in as a playoff team, this could be a game where it's the tiebreaker to get in down the stretch. So this is a huge game. And the one big thing for Central is Jesse Moodler got some time at the end of the year last year whenever his brother got hurt, and he was able to get some time in at quarterback, which Coach Albright thinks is going to help them get off to a faster start this year because he has that experience. But speaking of experience, Philipsburg has a lot of it. And watch out for this DeMarcus Law, who is the relative of Ty Law. Who,
I think it's a nephew.
Yeah, who played in the NFL and for Aliquippa.
Michigan, right?
Yeah. He was a sprinter in track, and he was very good athlete. He's got big play potential, and they have a lot of experience. So this might not have been a close game the last few years, but Philipsburg and Central is a very important game, which should be close this year.
And those 2 will be with, I wanted to write it down, we were talking Ty Brown and Forest Hills, Penn Cambria, the other teams that'll be with Huntington. So that's 6 teams playing for 4 spots.
Right.
And everything. Now, Philipsburg, you're familiar with Roman and everything. His biggest thing probably has always been to convince his kids they could beat a Central or even compete with a Central. Is that still his?
I'm sure that's still the message this year. Another interesting tidbit: their quarterback Archer Boffman, His dad,
Cool name.
Archer Boffman, it is a cool name. Archer Boffman, his dad was J.R. Boffman, who was the quarterback at Mo Valley back when Mo Valley was a very good team, and Coach Roman was there with him back then, so.
And kind of one of the assistant coaches.
He was, Coach Roman was one of the assistant coaches back then.
Donnie Bachman is
Paul Bachman, he's an assistant coach now.
Where else can you get that kind of information other than this show or actually the Altoona
And of
Mirror?
course, where did Roman go to high school?
Oh,
We
come
gotta
on.
get to
Only the elite. You know it.
of course.
Only the elite.
Hey, didn't he coach in Mo Valley with Homer and Tim Ginoco?
Tim was never in Mo Valley. At least I don't think he was at Mo Valley.
Okay. I thought we could
He
call
was
it the
from-
cradle of
He
coaches.
went to Mo Valley.
He went to Mo Valley. Maybe that's what it was.
He went to.
Anyways.
Come on, you grew up.
Mo Valley, the cradle of coaches. Anyway,
Right.
Our next game, Berlin Brothers Valley at Claysburg-Kimmel. And I think there's actually some people that are picking Claysburg-Kimmel to win this game. Claysburg-Kimmel, I mean, we put them on the cover. We have them on the cover. There's
their helmet.
There's their helmet. There are expectations of this program now because of how well they did last year. But Berlin is always good. What are you expecting from this game?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's kind of like a complete shift from last year when these two teams played, and everyone was like, "Oh, geez, Berlin's gonna crush them," and that did. The final score was lopsided, but Claysburg hung with them, especially early in the game, and then they scored a couple down the stretch. But Berlin graduated some players, and Claysburg has a lot of confidence going into this. And like Scott said, there are people that are picking Claysburg in this game. And the biggest thing for Coach Kasich, when I talked to him, he said, hey, when you have big expectations and you want to have a great season, you can't start 0-1. And we don't want to do that. We want to start off with a victory and getting a win over a team like Berlin, who's been one of the top teams in the ICC South. That would be huge for Claysburg.
Our next game, Cambria Heights at United Valley. Cambria Heights has been good for. They've had about 3 years in a row here. They've been doing really well. At some point, I keep wondering, when's going to have a low. But United Valley, is this not the guy, the new coach who told me he seemed like a very confident guy at the media died? He looks like somebody who grew up in my family. He looks like a Paisan, but I don't know. He could be Italian, he might not be Italian. Those guys are very confident. That's not being stereotypical. What do you expect from this game?
Well, one of the reasons for the confidence is that the United Valley merger has gone really well. It's United and Blacklick Valley, and now neither one of those schools was. United had some good success, but Blacklick Valley had never really done too well in football. But those two schools combined have put together a very successful co-op, and we don't always see that because, in McCourt Carroll right now, I think Coach Smith told me there's only 7 kids from Carroll, and Juniata Valley Williamsburg. I know there's not a whole lot of kids from Williamsburg that are on the team, but this is almost a 50-50 split where there's kids from Blacklick Valley and United Valley. And it's interesting because they will play half their games at United and half their games in Nantyglow at Blacklick Valley. So they try to include both school districts, and they have had a lot of success since they merged. Cambria Heights is coming off back-to-back district championships. We keep doubting them every year. We say oh yeah, Cambria Heights, I don't know. And then they win their first ever district title at 1A. Oh, they're up to 2A this year. They won't be able to compete. And then they won the 2A championship. So I don't think you can count out Cambria Heights just because people aren't picking them and they're picking River Valley and United Valley ahead of them. I don't think that is something that we should do because they have outdone expectations the last 2 seasons.
If your coach Lewis up there, is he playing that? Is he playing?
Yeah, I would
see look at the Mariners Tuesday, or is it Wednesday morning paper?
Probably.
See who picked him. See who picked.
Probably. I mean, I think all coaches do that to be secretive. But hey, I mean, my message would be let them doubt us.
Now we are at the quick hits portion of our program. As you can see, these 2 helmets have magically appeared, just like if it were in a television show. And our first quick hits is a game Andy's attending, Bishop Guilfoyle, Penns Valley. Anything we can talk about a BG injury that might make this game a little bit more even.
That's from you. So
I was told by a very reliable source, but but I just know a couple of weeks ago, Rich D'Elia said it on his radio show that there was a really, really good chance Torian Consiglia was not going to be healthy enough to play that first game. I don't know if that evens the playing field out for Penns Valley, because I don't know how much Penns Valley has back. I just know BG basically just reloads.
Plus, it's a long trip, but I'm worried about Andy's ability to drive down there and concentrate and still be able to do a great job.
Mo Valley area to Penns Valley. You know how long of a trip that is?
If you end up in Philipsburg, which is Christmastown, Pennsylvania, you've gone too far.
Google Maps me.
Yeah, you
take
gotta,
it to Penns Valley.
It's on your left. It's on your left. But anyways, what do you know? Is BG? What did he tell you as far as Coach Wheeler? Did he say anything about
just that Penns Valley is a well-coached team, and that he's it's always a team that you have to be ready for, and that they have some history. They played for a district title a long time ago, and this is a new matchup for them. So it's a long trip, and they have a lot of new starters for BG. So we'll see what happens.
Our second cricket is Tyrone at Bellefonte. Tyrone's going to have a new quarterback. The first one wasn't walked their quarterback for like the last 4 years.
Yeah, he didn't start his freshman year, and then he was starting by the end of his freshman year.
And Bellefonte is the coach Confer, if I'm right?
Yeah, they had a good year last year.
Now, what do you expect?
They have graduated some players, but I think last year we were kind of surprised because I think Bellefonte beat Central early in the season, and we were like,
"Oh my God,
that's right."
We were.
I remember how shocked.
Like, wait till Mike gets back. Mike will know because he reads Twitter or whatever it's called. X.
So
you can't tell people scores of people.
So this is a game that Tyrone. We talked about the 3A thing earlier. Tyrone's in that mix too, and they need to get wins. And when you play a team like Bellefonte, which is a higher classification, you can get a lot of points for winning this game. So you need to make sure that you win this game and stick with these teams like Central PO, Forest Hills, Penn, Cambria, and Huntington, because that's going to be a tight race all season.
In Bellefonte's 4A. And I gotta think Tyrone's going to be like, hey, they can't sneak up on us. He's going to tell his kids.
I would hope not.
That Franco dude is going to tell his kids, hey, Bellefonte's good now.
I think you would be better suited to answer that question. So I'm sure you're talking to I'm sure you're talking to your brother.
I know, but you could actually know. I asked him about how they did against Clearfield, man. I'm not allowed to say. But he was really happy, knock on wood, that nobody caught her.
I will say it's going to be interesting to see somebody other than Ashton walk. He's one of those kids that feels like he was there forever.
I think it's Eli Woomer, right? I think Eli Woomer is going to be there. And then Glendale at Windberg. Glendale, new coach. Windberg has our favorite coach. We have very many favorites. We like Gary Black. We like Nick Leverage. But Matt, I always ask him, great guy. What do you expect him from?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. If you're Windberg, Glendale's not going to sneak up on you, because they did last year. Glendale won this game last year, if you guys don't remember. It was the
14-7?
It was another one of those moments we were really shocked.
Yeah, one of the biggest upsets of the year. So Glendale has a new coach, and they have to go to Windberg. So I have a feeling the Windberg's going to be a little fired up for this one, especially after last year. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's going to be a tough first game for Coach Hill, Chase Hill, the new coach there. But these Glendale kids, they're excited to show what they can do, and we'll see what happens.
And then we're going to close out our last two segments. We don't have a line segment yet because we haven't started the game. So
2 years ago, I had to apologize to Scott Gummo, Tyrone's offensive line coach, defensive line, I believe, too. So me and Scott knows what we're talking about. I'll say that. So yeah, I start a line of the week next week, and I swear I'll have one next week.
We're sure Andy's going to have his moonshine with him next week.
It's only water, no drinking on the
That his grandmother dropped off before the show just to make sure he's properly.
I will endorse Gallagher's iced tea.
Oh, free advertising, so you can't do that. Michael has his stat of the week for us. What do you have for our stat of the week?
Okay, so it's kind of a two-part thing, stat of the week this week. So first of all, this will be my 20th year covering high school football for the Altoona Mirror, and in my first year was 2006, and I covered, in my first game I ever covered, was Andy Stine's Moshannon Valley. Williamsburg.
Do you remember?
So that's how old I am. But this is also the first time I'll be covering a high school football game and doing this show that my dad won't be watching because he passed away in January. And I just want to say that I really appreciated that he always watched the show. And, you know, everyone out there that, you know, has a dad that's like proud of you and everything, just make sure you appreciate it and everything, because like, it's just one of the coolest things to have your parents, mom or dad, support what you do. And my dad always supported me, and he always loved watching this show. So I hope somehow he's still able to see the show this week.
And did you not go to games? Didn't he go to games with you sometimes?
Yeah.
Right. See, that would have been a cool thing. Yeah, my dad has been going. Well, your dad probably so tired at the end of the work week. Does he go to the Glendale Mill Valley game?
I think my parents might have went to like 1 or 2 high school games last year, but I know my mom still watches us every week as well. And I think my dad watches us most weeks as well.
He throws stuff at the TV screen.
Probably, that's probably true. But my mom was very excited that we took a new photo this week. So
See, he's lucky. He's done with. I have my kids didn't even know I do this show. I swear. Neil Riddell get mad at me. I said they don't read the paper because they read their phones, and I don't think my kids know what I do for a living unless I actually tell them.
your kids see me though, and they love.
They do. They see and they see Mike anyway.
Which hey, it's all love here too.
But here we go. Our favorite. I don't even know how many years this is. We've been doing the cool name segment.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
But because when we did this show, the football insert had not come out yet, which is where I use and I peruse for cool names. And I have a Northern Bedford. I can give you a heads up. Next week it's going to be a Northern Bedford and Tyrone kid. But last year I decided to go with 2 college names because I needed to have some for it. But this year there is a linebacker at Cal, in the ACC California. His name, and Dan will have this back. His name is Boom Jock. Boom Jock. As you know, he's a linebacker. And then this one, I told Andy, I don't know if I want to turn this kid's name into an adjective, a noun, or a verb.
Okay.
There's a defensive tackle from New Mexico State. His name is Cole Schnettgecki. Cole Schnettgecki. And I don't know if Dan's going to have enough space across. You have to take or reduce the typeface. But anyway.
You could say it's a cool name though.
Yeah. But like if Andy has a mistake or something at work, we're going to say, oh man, he pulled a Schnettgecki. Or something like that, or what a Schnettgecki. Well, anyways, Boytim's been shaking his head for 6 years now, I guess. Anyway, Schnettgecki. I want kids to show up at a game with a T-shirt that just says Schnettgecki on it. Maybe we'll give them a prize or something. Anyway,
Dan's behind the camera, just
he's a big dude. He's 6'3". He's 6'3", 300 pounds too. Anyway,
Good luck to all the teams this week, and everyone stay healthy.
Yes. Be back for week 2. That's going to do it for us. For Dan Eisberg behind the camera, for Andy Stine, for Mike Boytim, Scott Franco. Take care. We'll see you next week.